Welcome to Rise, a show celebrating the artistic, cultural, and economic rebirth of Buffalo. I'm Joe Mesi.
And I'm Lisa Christie. Joe and I couldn't be more excited to be with you today.
With us in the studio is fellow Buffalonian and Tony-nominated actor Stephen McKinley Henderson. Stephen stars with Denzel Washington and August Wilson's Oscar-nominated Fences. He's also currently appearing in another Oscar-nominated film, Manchester by the Sea. Stephen has performed on stage at Buffalo Studio Arena, as well as on television and on Broadway, where he was Tony-nominated for his role in Fences. We are thrilled to have him on the show today.
And also with us on the show today is Western New Yorker artist Philip Burke, an international star of the art world. Philip's work has been seen around the globe, from the pages of Rolling Stone and Atlantic magazines to being celebrated in art galleries all over the world.
We are happy to have you with us here on Rise. We'll be right back.
If he be like you in the sports, he gonna be all right. Ain't but two men ever played baseball good as you. And what it ever get me? I ain't got a...
Welcome back to Rise. Stephen McKinley Henderson is a star of stage, television, and screen, where he's currently appearing in the Oscar-nominated films Manchester by the Sea and August Wilson's Fences. On television, Stephen has also starred on the hit shows Law & Order, Elementary, and Blue Bloods.
He was nominated for a Tony for his role in Fences, which was adapted into a feature film by Denzel Washington, and has been nominated for 4 Oscars, including Best Picture of the Year.
We are thrilled to have Stephen here today. Stephen, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
What a year you've had.
Yeah. It's been fun.
2 Oscar-nominated films. Got to congratulate you on the Virtuoso Award most recently.
Thank you. That was a joy down in Santa Barbara. And it was presented by Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, wow.
And I've been a fan of his for a long time. And we had great conversation down there.
I watched it online. You were in some really good company. So
Yeah.
big names.
6 Oscar nominees.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to say, this is a compliment. You may be the most famous but unrecognizable celebrity in Buffalo. But I don't think that's the case anymore. You're becoming very, very recognizable.
Was that intended?
No, well, yeah. I tell you, I'm glad I got a lot of years in where I could just go get a hot dog at Ted's and not have to.
Not anymore.
No, not much more.
Now, most people don't realize this, but you played Troy Maxon, Denzel's character, on stage here at Studio Arena in 1992.
I certainly
But then
did.
again, you played Jim Bono in 2010. So how was that like adjusting to both characters?
Oh, what's the joy? It's both written by August Wilson.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself in the movie Fences feeding Denzel some of his lines?
No, never needed to do that.
But what was it like? You've been in how many of August Wilson's?
I've been in 8 of the 10.
8 of the 10, the Pittsburgh cycle, they're called.
Exactly.
It's a
The Pittsburgh cycle, and some call it the American Century cycle. People in Pittsburgh call it the Pittsburgh cycle.
Right. So you got to know him well.
Yes, I got to know August well. It was really quite a blessing in my life.
Was he a good friend?
Yes, he tried always to make me feel very comfortable around him, but I was always in awe. But we relaxed sometimes, and then he'd say something, and I'd realize I'm talking with this genius,
But he was also your mentor, correct?
Well, we got to know each other quite late in life, and we both had a mentor in common. And I was in my 50s when I met him, and as was he. I met him down in Pittsburgh, and we just got along really great. And then I got cast in one of his plays and did that for 8 years. Did Jitney for 6 years, the play that's now on Broadway, because it was the only play of the 10 plays that didn't go to Broadway at first. So it was a badge of honor. But now Ruben Santiago Hudson from Lackawanna, he's got that one, he directed, and it's on Broadway, so I'm glad we rejoice in that.
Now, you're a big civil rights advocate, correct? And you've won an NAACP award. Out of all the stage and film you've done, what has hit closest to home as far as your characters you've played?
Well, I received an NAACP award for acting in Jitney. But of the roles I've played, I know it's so difficult because they all are part of you. You're always using your fingerprint, your DNA for all of it. But I did a play that won the Pulitzer in 2015 called Between Riverside and Crazy. Won the Pulitzer for Stephen Adley Durgis. And then I won an Obie Award for that. And that was one that I felt rather close to. Not because he crafted it on me or anything, but because finally it spoke to me in a very deep way.
Well, this role was a great fit. Jim Bono. So what's it like to now finally bring August Wilson's art to a big screen, to a whole new audience?
Well, you know, because of the leadership. See, leadership is everything. And Denzel, it makes it so special. And the fact that August wrote this play and wanted this movie to be made, and it took 30 years to do it. Yeah. And then the perfect storm of Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, Michael T. Williamson, Russell Hornsby, Giovanna Depo, and Sanaya Sidney, to be a part of that and do it in Pittsburgh, in the town that inspired him. I mean, it just doesn't get much better.
Any funny stories from the set?
Oh, well, I can't tell all that. I can't tell all that. But I tell you, though, the citizens of Pittsburgh who welcomed us to the Hill District, and it's a place in the Hill District called Sugar Top. So we're at Sugar Top in the Hill District, and all the people you see on the streets, they're all Pittsburghians. And Denzel went to each door in that neighborhood, knocked on the door and said, "We're going to be in your neighborhood for a while,
really, and
I'm going to be trying to do the best movie I can."
Oh,
and so to see those people welcome us, and they were so glad to see Viola there every day with her apron, and they would bring food for us and everything. So
it's a great city. My daughter was at school there, very Buffalo-like. They're good people.
Yes,
it's a beautiful city.
So.
Now, Viola Davis, we talked about. I mean, she's like mimicking this Meryl Streep type career. She's really, really impressive. She nails this role.
Oh, she does. And Meryl's a big fan of. There's a mutual admiration society between those two.
Yeah, I'm expecting some awards for her.
Now, I have a question for you. Your family has a very special story. Your brother was deaf. And how did that impact and change your life?
Well, I had an aunt in Oklahoma who wanted to help my brother go to a school for the deaf because he had been going to regular school and not doing very well, and they made fun of him and so on and so forth. So she had us go around these churches doing the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm. He was 12 and I was 7, and I would, speak the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm. He would sign it, and they would just throw money at us. We had enough money for candy and for him to go to school.
Have you learned sign language?
Well, I had just that much sign because I didn't grow up with my parents. We didn't grow up in the same household.
Oh, okay.
We only got together when when my grandfather would take us to Oklahoma. So I had pretty much a seven-year-old's vocabulary on my hands, but I did know the alphabet. So
as far as performing, do you think that sparked the actor in you?
Oh, no question about that. Yeah, because he was such an inspiration because of that intent that he had to use that to take his life further. So I saw very early on the super objective, saw very early on the commitment and a passion.
So take us back. Tell us how and when and where Buffalo came to fruition.
Well, theater again. I got a chance to be cast in a production of Mice and Men. That was the first show. Got to do of Mice and Men here because of the gentleman who took over as artistic director had run a theater in St. Louis, and I was a member of that company for 5-6 years. And then when he came here, he offered me one show, which turned into another show, and then I met the great Saul Elkin, and there was a position open at University of Buffalo, and so after about 4 years of coming once a year to do a play.
What year was this about, University of Buffalo?
87.
Because you're a professor. You just retired,
Just retired after 29, 30 years of being a professor.
So you did your whole tenure.
Yeah.
So did you come back, were you full-time or you just came back?
Full-time, yeah. No, I was full-time. Great years. Great years.
And I know you've won a lot of awards. You've been recognized for a lot of awards. The Art Voice for Outstanding Performance.
Oh, you really do know.
Niagara Gazette. I was Googling the heck out of it.
Did you even know about that? But yes, that was...
So we are so honored and proud to have you here in Buffalo. You've been just
it's great to be a part of you guys as you set out on this wonderful journey.
Well, speaking of Buffalo and UB, tell us what is your advice to these young students, and how do you? What's our landscape like as future?
Well, there's wonderful things going on here, especially in film.
Sure.
But there's always been a great theater community. You got world-class theater here. The Irish Classical, Cavanoki, Road Less Traveled. Buffalo United Arts, the African Culture Center, Regina.
Rich history.
Oh man.
You work with a lot of the students once you're done teaching them. A lot of them.
Well, if they ever call, they want to work on an audition or something like that. Always. But I always tell them, work on the craft.
He's available in Buffalo, people.
Yeah, right.
Work on the craft, but they're great teachers here, great Natalie, and so I'm just glad to be a part of a community that prizes the arts as much
So
as
people,
Buffalo does.
you don't have to take off to LA, you don't have to go to New York City, or you do, to be the big star or the
Made it work
big
here.
Broadway
Well,
star.
you know, I mean, I don't know about big star. I'm a working actor.
Sure.
I'm glad to be, if you do what you love. The career you seek may elude you, but the craft you seek is in your hand. You can get as good at it as you want.
We love those words of wisdom.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
we're so happy to have you on Rise today. Joe and I are just thrilled.
Thank you for being here with us.
It's been very special.
It's been a great pleasure.
Buffalo Treasure. Thanks so much for being with us here on Rise. We're going to be right back with Philip Berg.